10 years ago, Sodexo made a series of commitments to create lasting and meaningful change in the communities where the business operates. That first public service pledge, published in 2015, was truly groundbreaking. And Sodexo has been a key partner to the Social Value Portal ever since. And Sodexo's latest iteration, its Social Impact Pledge 2030, has now launched.
And today I'm delighted to be joined by Jean Renton, Angela Halliday and Tom Martin, all from Sodexo. And we're going to talk about the pledge. We're also going to reminisce about where it all started and think about the future.
So tell me a bit about what triggered that move. Why did social impact start to become such a priority for the business at that time?
Actually, Guy, it goes back much further than that. It goes back probably about 60 years when Pierre Bellon founded the company. He had a belief that people's environments had a profound impact on their well-being, their productivity and their happiness. Pierre created Sodexo to provide services to people to enhance their environments and to enhance those daily lives, really for the everyday. For example, serving nutritious and sustainable meals. It's just how we do business.
And I would certainly agree with that. We embed good business into everyday business here at Sodexo, and following on from the Social Value Act that was published 2012-2013, we acknowledged as a business we had to do more, go further. We saw the shift, not just by government, but from society, from our colleagues. They were demanding more in terms of transparency, value for money, but also demonstrating we're making a tangible impact.
So tell me about the original commitments you made back in 2015.
So back in 2015, the pledge centred around transparency, about accountability and public service ethos.
But since then, the pledge back in 2015, it allowed us to consolidate a lot of that great progress, but really question ourselves about what else can we do.
So really, Angela, it's about Sodexo demonstrating that we can be a force for good in the broader community.
Absolutely.
So tell me how the Impact Pledge has evolved since 2015.
In 2021, we created 4 impact pathways: people, planet, places and partners. And in 2025, for each of those impact pathways, we have created an ambitious target, commitment on how we're going to create impact.
Many of our clients now expect us to really be considering our social impact, both in terms of how we look after our colleagues who work for us, but also how we will give back to the communities in which we're operating and supporting our clients. If we want to attract and retain talent, we absolutely must focus on social impact, because people are at the heart of everything that we do.
So practically speaking, tell me how you deliver on client sites.
So at the client site that I'm responsible for, we deliver student experience in the accommodation. And I think that's absolutely crucial as part of the social impact that we've just been hearing about, is how do we deliver that? We have a suite of events, engagement activities that really look to harness and support students in that environment, to make sure that they don't just exist in the accommodation that we manage, but also thrive, grow within that space. They get their education from the university, but how do Sodexo play their part in supporting the resident to understand financial independence, grow within themselves and the city that they're living?
So your first commitment is around people, specifically focused on social mobility. Now this is a really complex issue. So tell me how you're going to tackle it.
As an employer of 30,000 people in the UK and Ireland, we have a responsibility around social mobility and to create an environment for our colleagues to belong, act and thrive. I'm really proud that we are the first company in our industry to be mentioned in the Social Mobility Index, and that's testament to all the work that we're doing across Sodexo and to the great leadership from my colleagues here and many others.
Yes, we're absolutely delighted to be on the Social Mobility Employer Index. What it did do for us was give us the opportunity to really hone in the areas that matter most. So whether that be helping socioeconomic groups such as ex-offenders or indeed people transitioning from homelessness, but also our outreach work, making sure that we're targeted in the communities that need our support most.
As an example, on our site, apprenticeships is a key driver for social mobility. We welcomed a young adult from a local college to the contract, and he was doing a T-level apprenticeship with ourselves. Not only did he grow and thrive in the environment of the contract, but he also went on to win North T-level Apprentice of the Year at the Apprenticeship Awards.
And we're also supporting women to progress at Sodexo. For example, we have around 19% of our security team are women, compared to the industry average of 10%.
Moving on to your commitment around planet, you've committed to achieve net zero by 2040. You're a big business. That's going to be really challenging, isn't it?
It's a challenge for any business. The good news is we've been doing it for many, many years. At Sodexo, we follow the science. So we're investing and focusing the way in which we are decarbonising our business as opposed to relying on carbon offsetting.
And as a food service provider across the UK and Ireland, we serve over 1 million meals a day. So sustainable meal options, of course, is very important. It's important that we create meals that encourage our customers to choose sustainable options, but also that we really focus around our waste. We recently launched our Sustainable Food Barometer, which we anticipate will really help us to understand more about what our consumers want.
And we know that at least a third of our Scope 3 emissions come from our suppliers. So therefore, we're working really closely with our supply chain in order to help them reach net zero by their given deadline also.
You mentioned your supply partners.
We have a large supply chain, as you can imagine. It's made up of around about 4,000 suppliers. It's very important to us that the supply chain is diverse, that it's made up of small, medium enterprises like Angela referred to, but also that we work with voluntary organisations like Change Please, where we are today, and that really helps us to stay agile, but also helps us to give back to the communities in which we operate.
Your final pathway is around places, and your commitment there is to support Stop Hunger Foundation. Tell us a bit more about that.
So the Sodexo Stop Hunger Foundation is actually a global charity of Sodexo worldwide, and it was launched in the UK and Ireland 20 years ago with the aim of fighting hunger in our society.
The Stop Hunger Foundation really lets us get right into the heart of the community, tackle societal needs such as well-being, financial poverty as well as food poverty. In fact, Tom, your team obviously are out there right in the heart of the communities. How does it feel for you?
Yeah, thanks, Angela. I think it's so important, and I think it's something that our people really, really care about. Being able to give back, to make real change is incredibly important to everything that we stand for at Sodexo.
This is a 5-year pledge. Do you anticipate reviewing your targets over that period?
Oh, 100%. We appreciate that there is no end game almost to social impact, but also not just the societal challenges, but the geopolitical environment is continuously changing. So there's factors out with our control that we've always got to keep an eye on, be mindful of, and ensure that we're agile and pivot to make sure we tackle the needs of the day.
Finally, what does real impact look like to you?
To me, it looks like innovation, not standing still, making sure that we're continuing to take what today looks like and evolving it, growing it for the benefit of our customers, clients and colleagues.
It must be tangible, and tangible ways of identifying impact is around diversity of our workforce, for example, or indeed how diverse our supply chain is and how well supported they are.
And to me, it's about happier colleagues, happier clients and better communities.
Jean, Angela, Tom, thanks so much for a fantastic discussion. I'm really looking forward to the outcomes.